Good morning and welcome to another edition of Mark's Inspiration. Thank you to my 1,371 subscribers, because without you, I would not be here. Today's topic is going to be pleasure seeking and comfortability. Is that a word? You know what I mean. Join me and I will tell you about this in a moment. You have to be strong enough to endure these things. You have to approach women. With today's social media, she's constantly being hit on. Women are always in the game. You have to stay focused. We are men. That's what we do. All right, let's get after it. And today's topic, as I said, is pleasure seeking and comfort. Comfort. We are so comfortable in the U.S. that we are killing ourselves. As I look around my community, I live in a rural community outside of St. Louis. About 50 miles, a suburb basically of St. Louis. And everywhere I look, I see obese, extremely obese, and overweight people. People taking their comfort with food. Some people take their comfort with alcohol. Excuse me. Some people take their comfort with drugs. And all these things, kept in perspective, are fine. But when you see extremely obese people, overweight people, alcoholics, drug addicts, they have taken this pleasurable experience to an extreme to where it's become an addiction or an attachment, if you like. And I am familiar with addiction and attachments because I've had both in life. By taking too much enjoyment in pleasure. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with pleasure. It's a pleasurable experience to be with a woman sexually, of course, to hold her in your arms, to kiss her, etc. I'll keep it YouTube compliant here. And it's a pleasurable experience to eat a good steak or pasta or sushi or whatever you like to eat. All these things are good when kept in perspective, in order, where they're supposed to be. In order of importance. But what happens is, as humans, we seek the easier, softer way. Always we do. That's why everything is so easy. So along with this problem of pleasure seeking that our culture has developed, we have comfort. So we've made everything so easy that none of us, well, most of us don't have to work physically hard anymore. Isn't it ironic that now we have to have gymnasiums everywhere and people have to work out because we've made work so easy? You don't even have to get up to change the channel on your television. You can order DoorDash or Uber Eats. You don't even have to go out to eat. You don't have to get out of your car to make a deposit. You have drive-through banks, drive-through restaurants. You don't even have to get your lazy ass up to get fat. Hey, I've been fat, okay? I'm not bad-mouthing fat people. I know what happens when you become addicted to food or alcohol or drugs or any of that, because I've struggled with all of that earlier in my life. And it's a difficult addiction to break. But all these things have little to do with pleasure and a lot to do with trying to stuff down something inside of you that you don't want to deal with. Some hurt, some emotional pain. I don't want to use the word trauma because that seems like the new buzzword. To me, trauma is if you're going down the road in your car and you have an accident and your mom and dad gets killed, or your children get killed in front of you, or your house burns down and you lose a family member. These things, to me, are traumatic. But now they use the word to describe. I was going to the ice cream parlor when I was a kid, and my dad got angry and wouldn't buy me an ice cream. And I was traumatized by it. Now I have to go into therapy. Because our nation has become so soft, that's a little bit of an extreme example, but you get the picture. I'm not negating the word, it just seems like we use it for things that are just part of life's experience. I could tell you many things I've gone through in life that you would say were traumatic, but to me, they're just part of life. But maybe some psychotherapists would say, I'm in denial. Maybe I am. But life is a perception. How do I desire to perceive something? And back to the topic of pleasure seeking and comfort, how do you perceive life? Do you perceive life as just a pursuit for comfort and pleasure? If you do, as a man, I know I can't speak for women, but as a man you will be left wanting, feeling empty and unfulfilled. As a man, you have to pursue your dreams, your purpose, your goals. And of course, if you're watching me, I know you have written goals. I know you're in the top 1%. Only 1% of the people in the world have written goals. And I'm sure you have them. And if you don't, you're going to get off your ass today and you're going to write some down as soon as this video is over. Because you are a subscriber of Mark's Inspiration. And we do what we need to do as men. Because we are men. We're not these snowflakes that are growing up today that don't know how to wipe their own ass. I guess I can say these things. I'm not sure what you can talk about and what you can't hear. I know on Patreon you can do whatever you want. I'm going to start putting videos on Patreon where I can be a little more explicit and give you some content there where I don't have to worry about YouTube compliancy. That's another, is that a word? Well, it is today. I'm making my own word today. All right, so keep it in perspective. If you find yourself to where you can't wait to go eat a certain food, or you have to have it after every meal or every meal, soda, so we call it soda, Coke, these types of things, people get addicted to those because they taste good. And what is the result of too much pleasure seeking? On the inside, it's an emptiness, but it expresses itself on the outside as obesity, being overweight, becoming alcoholic, a drug addict, which you can see that in people. It destroys them from the inside out. Eventually it starts showing on the outside. Everything you are on the inside will eventually show itself on the outside. So if you see someone who's drinking all the time and they're a bad alcoholic, eventually it will destroy their body, and you will be able to see it in their eyes, in their skin, in their face. The same as with eating. Those people are destroying themselves with food because they're pressing down something within them that they don't want to deal with. Some pain, as I said, some past experiences, that guilt, shame, remorse. And until they get those things out, they will continue to seek pleasure in food, drugs, or alcohol. You have to deal with those things. You have to bring them out. A good way is to write down those things on paper and look at them. They become real when you write them down on paper. Just like your goals become real when you write them down on paper. As long as you keep it in your head, it's not really tangible. But it's there. Get it out on paper and take a look at it. And then you can deal with it. When you make it real, you can deal. And then you can get rid of it. Uncover, discover, and discard these things. And then your life won't just be about pleasure seeking. You will find true fulfillment. You don't find fulfillment in seeking for pleasure or comfort. You find it in doing what men do, going out there and conquering, being adventurous. What do you think men of old did? They would take off on a war journey with their leader and be gone for years, or they would go off on a ship for years, months. They weren't seeking pleasure, they were seeking adventure. They took risks. I don't imagine it was too comfortable on a ship for 6 months or more, or on a war march for years, not knowing whether you were ever going to make it home. Now, these are extreme cases, but these things are what men find fulfillment in, adventurous. Why do you think we have extreme sports? We have made everything so safe, so comfortable, so pleasurable. We have to go out there and do extreme sports to get that fulfillment, that adventure, that rush, that feeling that we used to get from just surviving and living. They have boot camps now for men because they've grown up in such a soft, comfortable, pleasurable society. They don't know how to be men. Men are masculine. Men are adventurous. Men are risk takers. That's what men are. That's masculinity. And there's nothing wrong with it, no more than there's anything wrong with femininity, which is the nurturing side of a woman. The part that can raise kids, nurture them, make them feel loved and secure, better than any man can. We do it in a different way. We're supposed to be out there conquering, providing, and protecting. That's what we do as men. And if you don't know how to do that, keep watching. I'm going to teach you how here over a period of time. So, thanks for joining me. I'm going to go. Hit the PayPal button and donate. If you found this of value, share it with a friend. And if you'd like to get my help personally, you can contact me through my website, marksinspiration.com, or my email, which will be in the description. Have a great day. Take care.